The studio this week appears to have been taken over and turned into some kind of campaign office. There are banners with hops written on them. There are little flags and pin badges with slogans such as "Hands off Hutton," "Small pads good, big pads bad," and "Feck no, we won't grow." There are a number of station regulars parading up and down and chanting things. Placards stating important points like "This just won't do" and "Down with this sort of thing." Someone in the corner is selling bottles of what could be homemade lemonade, or then again, could just be bottles of recycled bodily fluids, similar colour. They're all turfed out. Flossy threatens a few with a good panning, just in time for the host for this evening to say,
"Our mics are live at last." Good evening, and welcome to this week's show. We've an action-packed hour and a half coming up for you.
Do we? I should have brought my hiking boots.
Well, I've got my DMs.
Dr. Martens?
No, deerskin moccasins. These are my indoor shoes.
Oh, they look comfy. Fur-lined.
That is genuine mock setty rabbit fur, that is.
Poor mock rabbits. That's cruel. Sorry again. Poor mock rabbits. That's cruelty, that is.
Now you're taking the mickey.
You're mocking my mock moccasins, ya bam.
I have no idea at all where this conversation is going. Right, now shush before I put the boot in.
Best foot forward.
Time to go toe-to-toe with the news. Base assaults? Now with batteries. We shine a light on this story.
Sticky fingers slightly less sticky after PF legal ruling.
Dumpster diving Dav, and no hope at Dav's Hope Worry. Hutton Orbital Preservation Society hops to it.
Lost in space!
Lost in stats, more like. I cast an eye over Alvin's domain.
And my roving eye is going a little further afield with the community events this week.
In recent weeks, and in a protest against the ongoing campaign by Pilots Federation members to steal just about anything that they could lay their hands on, and cause sleepy night time for any scavengers, or indeed settlement security patrolling, the trade body representing security personnel has staged a campaign to highlight their plight. The Settlements Association of Security Staff, or SAS, turned off their torches and fitted all personnel with night vision. With well over 50% of the settlements in the bubble in the night side of their respective planets, many tidally locked planets have settlements on the dark side to protect them from solar radiation. This has meant that station security have been able to do their jobs in relative safety, sneaking around like ninja warriors and creeping up on unsuspecting scavengers before giving them a jolly good drubbing. There were rumours that the real reason behind it was that someone had stolen all the batteries. Definitely not looking at Commander Rampage here, but settlements were speedy to reassure everyone that unlike opinion polls, which are deeply popular but frowned upon on Galtwit, batteries are in plentiful supply, and the change was absolutely deliberate. The Pilots Federation Safety Inspectorate has stomped down hard on this practice, though, citing a rash of personal injury insurance claims from oafish security personnel who had stubbed their toe, tripped over a box, fallen down a big pit, and accidentally stood in a beam of a mining laser as a result of not being able to see where they were going properly. That, and the settlements themselves were none too happy at a massive engineer material requirement for supplying all of their staff with night vision. they have insisted that all security personnel should use a standard issue lamp when patrolling at night, with the prerequisite cool white bulb installed. The use of red, blue and even brown bulbs is frowned upon. Brown lights being a new invention by scientists working for Professor Palin after extensive study of Thargoids, post-Thargoid commander flight suits and hitherto unexplainable scientific phenomena. In retaliation, the SAS have been issuing their security personnel with new training, rocket launchers, uprated lasers, and a big black nightstick for thwacking you over the head if they catch you. Due to shortages, there are rumours that Wanda of Wanda's Massage and Personal Relaxation Emporium is rather upset that supplies of her Ladytron 7000 personal entertainment devices have been repurposed as offensive weapons and sold to the military, leaving her customers decidedly unsatisfied.
Remaining on the subject of scavenging, the lighter-fingered Hutton truckers, yeah, we're looking at you again, Commander Rampage, have been hampered in the last week or so by another safety ruling by the Pilots Federation. Whilst loitering is a crime punishable by extreme laser doom, a hair-trigger response to every exciting situation and the resulting premature activation of your lasers often leads to an angry response from your intended target. There's one thing that's not a crime. Crime. Yes, the art of looting a base without any consequence whatsoever has been classified as mostly legal in many systems. Yes, if someone catches you with a pad full of cat vids you've looted from a base, or pocketfuls of titanium that may have been previously owned by someone else, they'll get quite upset and put the alarms on. The actual act of taking them is not illegal. As a result, the Pilots Federation noticed that the sticky-fingered, klepto-inclined pilots of the galaxy had developed a habit of just casually picking up everything they find lying around like some kind of power-suited, heavily armed womble. This led to a number of incidents of, "I didn't realise it was yours," "What? This? Never seen this before in my life," and "You must have planted it on me, you dirty, rotten cop," by absent-minded commanders with deep pockets and a liberal approach to the concept of ownership. To solve this, the Pilots Federation installed a new software inhibitor in flight suits, freezing them for a whole second when picking up something that didn't belong to you, or attaching an e-breach to a terminal to prevent you accidentally hacking into and robbing something presumably. On picking something up, you are now required to look at it for a second, look around to see if anyone spotted you, clean your nails, wipe your visor, and then stick it in your backpack. For a big cabinet, this turned a high-speed arm sweep into your pack into an item-by-item careful process. After a protest by pilots that actually taking something wasn't illegal, and of course that they were time limited and didn't want to wait to get caught as having the items is definitely illegal, they reversed their decision, and you can now once again rob a settlement to your heart's content.
Dav's Hope has long been one of the best sources in the galaxy for the odds and sods that you need for engineers. Left-handed 3/16 Gripply, the jaw and strong in the arm, whatchamacallit, Dav's Hope. Commander Dav is a hoarder. All old bits of software, SCART cables, USB dongles, anything at all can be found lying around in his yard. But demand for Dav's diddly-doo-dahs has outstripped supply. As fast as it tours car boot sales, scrapyards, the aftermath of interstellar wars, commanders are repurposing and upcycling anything it can lay its hands on faster than he can limpet them all up. There are rumours that at Dav's Hope you now have no hope of finding what you need, and commanders are looking for new locations. Dom's Corner, Sally's Salvage, Arthur's Daily, maybe even Brabin's Grotto, though we think that's on Raxler. The Jameson site has been relentlessly looted, and people have even taken to more percussive means of obtaining their goodies by creating their own scrap in resource sites. We have reached out to Commander Dav, but he was busy dumpster diving and didn't have a second to talk to us.
The Brewer Corporation have submitted a controversial planning request today for Hutton authorities to add a large pad to the station. A spokesperson for Brewer said, although the medium pad was large enough for us to park a Python on, it just does not have the facilities to support the larger ships needed to keep up with the demand for tritium. It makes sense to add just one large pad to the orbital. Oh, and an executive lounge, and a gift shop obviously, and maybe some fancier shops. And would it kill you people to build a decent restaurant in this place? Since the introduction of fleet carriers, the demand for tritium has skyrocketed. Get it? Yeah, okay, I'll move on. Refinery stations have been overrun by demands for the new wonder fuel, and this heralds a move by Brewer to streamline the extraction and supply process. The Brewer Corporation are not without controversy. The fleet carrier manufacturers initially sold their megaships to commanders coated in paint which did not survive jumps through witch space, resulting in paint crews having to accompany early models everywhere and providing brightly coloured retrieval wallets instead of escape pods to seal themselves into in the event of a crash. These later turned out to be badly disguised body bags. Hutton locals have begun a sit-in protest outside of the Brewer Corporation office in an effort to force the company to reconsider their plans, amid fears that the large pad would change the fundamental cheerful grottiness which defines the station and its inhabitants. Supported by the newly formed Hutton Orbital Preservation Society, they're telling everyone exactly why this is a really bad idea. One yokel said, if they add a large pad and then put a Type 9 on it, and then the station will tip over and we'll all slide down on one end. Another commented, we don't like blow-ins, they have strange ways. A spokesperson for Red Planet Taxi Service, a budget travel company based on the station, was more optimistic, saying, this is a great idea. If we could hog a large landing pad with one of our haulers, it would make our drivers feel really good about themselves and would be great advertising for the company. Bring it on. He then ran off, pursued by locals with pitchforks and flaming torches. This reporter thought, get your tritium somewhere else. It's bound to be nicer and you're less likely to get food poisoning. Or gangrene. Also, why do they have pitchforks in the space station?
Universal Cartographics was rocked by a scandal this week, as it was squarely blamed for a hack attack that left commanders confused as to exactly where rescue ships were in various systems. While shipboard systems are built under license to the Pilots Federation, who tightly control the control methods, visual displays, and ship management microsystems, the positioning data relayed to your ships comes from Universal Cartographics' megacomputer. Supercomputers having been phased out in the 2900s as they were way too slow for faster-than-light computations. All stations, megaships, fleet carriers and installations are equipped with a cartographic location and identification transmitter. We won't be broadcasting the shortened acronym for that, as it's naughty. We'll use an initialism so we don't get pulled off the air. The CLIT is a tiny device fitted in a hard-to-reach area of the station, usually right next to the black box, and has only one purpose. Get your mind out of the gutter. Seriously, this is an important story. We can't help it if they choose that name. It's there to make sure your ship systems know where the major body that it's attached to is. It broadcasts on a sub-witch space frequency that's near instant throughout the galaxy and helps everyone keep a track on everyone else. However, there have been reports that persons, governments, or organizations unknown, in fact it could even be the Thargoids, have been messing with the CLIT and misreporting its location. This led to an emergency call from the Pleiades Sector KC-V C2-11 system, where the rescue ship allocated to Kipling Orbital, they do make exceedingly good cakes there, had disappeared up its own fundament and was reporting that it was inside a nearby planet. Shipboard navigation systems were directing pilots to the inside of said planet, with the ship systems searching in vain for an accurate position for the megaship's CLIT. After a swift security patch, the hack was uncovered, and a number of other misreported locations were discovered, including Perry Depot in Epsilon Indy, and of course Hutton Orbital, which everyone knows is 0.22 light-years from the jump point, but is to this day still reporting only 0.21 light-years, which is a travesty. It is rumoured that a faulty CLIT was responsible for the misjump of the Gnosis, and at least 2 fleet carriers said to be en route to Colonia are now reporting their position as somewhere out and about near Beagle Point. Of course, they could both be owned by Hankey. The software aboard megaship CLITs has been hardened to prevent future mislocation, though there is ongoing work to ensure that no one else ever is misguided as to their exact position.
Things have been mostly humming along this week in Hutton space, tickety-boo with few dramas. Narnia has both recovered from its infrastructure failure and brought down its influence to sensible levels through the tried and tested method of just ignoring the problem and letting it go away. The pirates that were successfully cleared out of Hill Pass size seem to have moved on to Van Marnen Star, so if you have a permit, jump in there and help the hotboxers evict them with a modicum of prejudice. If you don't have a Van Marnen Star permit, why not? We have 2 systems below 40% this week. Barnard Star and Ross 671 are on 35%, needing immediate attention. No other factions are in conflict in Barnard Star, locking up in, and now is a good time to go in there and improve matters. We have an outbreak pending in Epsilon Eridani, which is on only 41%, so let's see some fleet carriers stocked up with meds and on station ready for when it hits. At the top end of the Systems League, we have 7 systems above 60%, with 2 on 74. During the week, Hutton expanded into the LP 410-93 system, and happily we are losing the war 2-0 against the Confederacy of Bile Taka to gain entry because it already has a player faction in control, it's a bit of a dump, and don't we already have enough LP systems and one more just makes things confusing. Meanwhile in Colonia, Grand Moff Hankey asked that truckers work for Hot Colin Pythias. No pay, no accommodation, just work, no bonus, no tax, no questions, just work. Priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, boost Hutton influence in Barnard Star and Ross 671. If you want to shoot something, make sure Hutton loses 2 more days in the war in LP 410-93 and clear the pirates out of VMS.
We've got a nice mixture of events again this week. Some ongoing expeditions, one that's finished, and news of 2 different ways that you could spend your weekend. Firstly, it's Comfy Cannon Cruise news time, sent by Commander Mephisto. Waypoint 60 of the Comfy Cannon Cruise featured a diverse assortment of peduncle trees and pods. After 3 days of rest their Consul resumed route to a tritium mining spot, where she is now staying to refuel. Commander Yannick brings us the final update from the Apollo 15 50th anniversary expedition. The curtain has come down upon what is one of the most starred expeditions in the Pilots Federation has ever seen. The final tally was 571 commanders who joined up, making it the 5th most successful in history, and one that will be long remembered. Our final destination was the home of the legendary peaks of David and Goliath, some of the largest mountain ranges in the galaxy, and a truly spectacular sight that I recommend all commanders see at least once. After the mass landing of ships on the 50th anniversary of Apollo 15's lunar touchdown, we celebrated those who had gone before us into the black. This happened with a plethora of mountain climbs, SRV cliff diving, crazy ship races, and the infamous Drunken Donkey Demolition Derby, an event in which SRVs set out to wreck each other in as entertaining a way as possible. We, the expedition organisers, would like to thank the galactic media like Hutton Orbital Radio and all the other great media organisations that followed our trip into the unknown. But mostly, we'd like to thank all the commanders who were on the expedition. You were the expedition. We salute you all. That's Commander Yannick and the Apollo 15 expedition staff, 07. Mission Liaison Commander Nicole Dyson has smuggled out a message from the Rook Platoon Explores the Land Down Under expedition, out in the southeastern corner of the galaxy. After leaving the Australis Ferris wheel, we go to the third phase of the expedition, where all carriers will be making paths that cross the gap between the arms of the galaxy again. The 3 expedition carriers will be making different routes on their way to the third waypoint. Our guests continue to make fascinating discoveries of their own to fill in the absence of anything notable on the largest phase of the expedition. Commander Hunter has given us a reminder of what is now to be a 2-day event this weekend. Hello everyone, have you ever wanted to rescue a fellow pilot? Then this is your chance to get to know the organisation behind rescuing ships that need repairs badly. The Hull Seals. Get to learn how to rescue ships that are in dire need of help out there in the black or even in the bubble. The New Pilots Initiatives and the Hull Seals are organising a rescue training day on Saturday 7th and Sunday the 8th of August. All information and coordination will be held on our Discord, which is discord.gg/newp. Will you be the next Hull Seal recruit? See you there, 07. If you want to join up beforehand, visit hullseals.space. And finally, Commander Okayam is arranging Oki's North of the Bubble tour, a laid-back sightseeing jaunt to some of the galactic wonders in our own backyard, and it's starting pretty soon, tomorrow, 6th of August in fact. He described the expedition like this.
I realised the other day that there are some amazing locations between the Bubble and Sag A that, despite being so close, I've not yet visited, so I'm planning this tour to correct that oversight. I'm intending this to be a slow-paced exploration and sightseeing trip, averaging between 2 and 4 waypoints and 2 and 5,000 light years a week. One longer week at 8,000 light years over, 8-ish weeks. Not expecting a lot of first discoveries, but plenty of opportunities for first footfalls, exobiology discoveries, and shenanigans.
If you fancy joining in, or want some advice on ship builds first, or just want to chat about it, Commander Okayam wants to hear from you, and details are on our Facebook events page. There are lots of adventures organised by commanders that involve our community, and if you want your event to have a shout out, contact us on Facebook, Discord, or just email itookbart@huttonorbital.com.
And Relax, everybody. Yes, that's the end of the newsy bit. Asai, you have permission to unbutton your top button if you want and take your tie off. Yes.
I don't like...
So it's all been seamless so far.
Absolutely
Utterly.
seamless, yes.
Seamless.
We managed to bust the transmitter at the start, so if you're not listening to this on the radio, well, you aren't, because the radio, I think, got broken. The transmitter's wonky again. But if you're listening to itch. If you're itching to twitch, if you're twitching to itch, then yes, you can hear us, but everybody else can't, so no to them. Right,
So,
well, I think... Yeah,
That was seamless.
yes.
I just want to stress that the cartographic location and identification transmitter, while it's very close to the global system positioning orbital transponder, they aren't the same system, even though they are made by the same company.
Yes.
They're entirely different things, those two.
Very close, but not
They
quite.
have very
Can't
similar
find it
functions. Yeah.
The same general region, but different systems.
Yes.
Well, one is a little more sort of profound than the other one, but they both do the job nicely. So yeah.
One's a little more sensitive than the other as well.
Yes. Anyway, well, thank you very much to the news team. We don't have a Commander Palantir this evening. He is being entertaining. I think he's put on the
He's
makeup.
not.
He is. He's got his clown face on, and
He
he's,
has visitors. He's not entertaining.
Oh, so I thought he was doing the little balloon animals and magic tricks, pulling flowers out of his sleeve.
Not since the injunction. No.
I do have to say an enormous thank you to Commander Palantir. With Mrs. Van Tien's senior's 70th birthday last week, which is why I was not present, Mrs. Palantir and managed to make a selection of astonishing baked goodies, which I went to pick up during the afternoon. And we had afternoon tea in his garden, which was lovely. But no, thank you very much to the pair of them for helping Mum's birthday go so well. It's I think she's still munching her way through all the goodies at the moment.
Can I ask just how much of the garden and its constituent furniture did Bodie Dog eat?
Well, no, Bodie was very well behaved. I mean, he explored it thoroughly and then just sort of sat on people's laps and looked adorable. I mean, they are cat people, not dog people, but they did make him feel very, very welcome.
So he behaved like a cat.
Yeah, well, he made noises and scratched people a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
It was his first ever outing as well. So his first ever outing outside our house was to Commander Palantir's house, and he was made to feel very, very welcome. I think he's downstairs somewhere trying to eat the other dog at the moment.
Yeah.
There have been fights. But no, thank you very much to the team in here. So we don't have a Palantir, but we do have a Flossy. Good evening, Flossy.
Good evening.
And we didn't have any CGs last week.
No, we didn't.
But you've got some breaking news on new CGs for this week coming up later?
Yes, I have, yes.
Fantastic. We've also got Commander Chicks. Good evening, Squire.
Good evening.
And I understand that you've moved to a different position in the studio this evening.
Yes, I'm on the western side of the studio.
Right, the bit with sort of dragons be here and things.
The principality. Although it is in... To be fair to any of the leek munching variety of listener, this is Little England beyond Wales.
Right. Okay. But I mean, I understand you managed to leave on the wrong side of the studio. I mean, a part of your broadcasting equipment. So that's over on Flossy's side of the studio.
Yes.
So you've had to make do with sort of a garden bench from Alvin's.
It's a proper last-minute lash-up.
Yes.
Are you
G-class.
Are you in that part of the village they call that old English town area?
Yes. Mm.
Also known as Western Britain, unlike North Britain, where
West Britain, yes.
Our apology officer is good evening, apology officer.
Hello.
Obviously, we do need a swift one.
Do we? Yes,
we do.
We would like to apologise for the late departure of the 2030 service to Hutton. This was due to a technical difficulty.
Yes, but we got over that now. Just
a
about.
late departure, yeah.
I mean, Norm is running around the studio with a fire extinguisher and a big hammer and a big wrench and doing stuff. So we had to fire up the emergency transmitter to get this broadcast out.
It's bypassed like a Christmas
tree,
as Scotty would have said.
I'm going to accept the fault as entirely mine because without Palantir this week, I forgot about the pictures, and then I gave Norm a big bundle of pictures just before the show, and then he tried inserting them into the picture reader, and the picture reader mangled them, and so it's all my fault. It's fine. I'll take that one.
Problem.
Well, No comment. Is all I'm going to say. And obviously we've also got Amelia. Good evening.
Hello.
Why is it you always end up with the naughty ones?
I guess I'm just lucky.
Well, see, I didn't plan it that way. I just wrote the things down in order and just went person. Oh God, Amelia's got the naughty one again. So I'm not sorry about that. Actually, I'm not sorry at all, and I'm not going to ask the apology officer to apologise on my behalf.
And I wouldn't
because
do it if you did.
I guess I'm just the lucky one.
Yeah, you do it with aplomb. You do. And in fact, you actually usually encourage us to be a little more.
Ploms would be more normal, but if you could only got
A
the
plom,
one.
two plom. It's a plom line. Yeah, straight down the gutter. Usually with those articles, we did not mean anything rude by it, which is why we didn't say the rude words.
Well, we can say it now. It's after 9 o'clock.
No, we can. Oh, no, we're not.
You can say clit if you want to say clit.
Can I say clit? Are we allowed to say clit?
I don't
Not
know.
for the night shift.
Let's say
You're
clit
going to get
and
us
see
pulled
what
off the
happens.
air. Yeah,
We're going to get us pulled what? Pulled off what? You'll get us pulled off.
Oh no, it's gone downhill really, really rapidly. We've got some good evenings from Phoenix to Fire and from Cully 388, and I think Cloud Atlas is still rolling around on their back with their legs in the air, laughing at something.
We need to take that word out of the script, though. I mean, I could rub one out, but I can't. Erase all of it.
Flossy, where's the pan? Just get him.
If I see anything sticking out, I'll put a blue pen through it, right?
Yes, right. So there was as usual, a Frontier live stream this week. I think it was Zach and Bruce's turn this week.
Was, yes. It's a bit of a strange one this week, though. It's very, very, very brief. I was surprised because I couldn't find it at first, and then I went, "Oh, it's the file was about an hour long." And then as they got into it, they explained that it wasn't actually Super Cruise news. That's going to be every fortnight. And for anybody who's listening from the night shift, no, that's not a type of battle royale. A fortnight means every other week. So Super Cruise news
2 weeks.
less often. So they did
Right.
some flight assist stuff.
But they may have halved the amount of Super Cruise news, but it looks like they've doubled the number of patches.
Yeah, there was a teeny weeny patch this week, wasn't there?
Yeah, a patch on a patch. So we had patch 6.
Yeah.
And then there was a patch on the patch for 6.01. You may have been paying attention during the news to find out a little bit about it, but that 1 second, I'm going to rob this, now look around, shit, nobody's looking, and then rob the next thing, that was removed after an outcry.
Yes.
And all the bulbs got replaced.
Yes.
And we do have to say a big 07 as usual to Sally.
Yes. For usual
Because
patch note thoroughness and wit.
yes, but I mean the whole team actually. I've noticed the entire team have been sort of piping up and addressing problems and chatting to people on the forum. So good job all round on that one. Apart from Arf, who went on holiday, I think he was on holiday last week. Is he still on holiday this week? He might be.
No, he was back today.
Oh, he's back. Okay, I thought he was sunning himself still.
No, it was Arthur and Sally that were on today's stream.
Ah, right. Well, they've been doing a bit of
stream.
flight assist off challenging, which, as anybody who's watched the charity streams will know, and the flight assist off challenge and the I'm going to try undocking and not smacking into things challenges. It's challenging when somebody's watching you.
It's rebuy screen territory.
Yep. And obviously we've got a little bit of community news this evening, some good, some bad, before we move on. We're going to start with one of the sort of thumbs up kind of bits of news. Mrs. Wingnut 757, also known as Anita, was dispatched of a parcel of goodies from Hutton Orbital in recent weeks, which were handed over to the USPS, which is always a dangerous, dangerous thing. I'm sure they're lovely, but they do have a habit of anything from this side of the pond vanishing it very, very quickly. But it did take a couple of weeks to get there. So, apology officer, you sent some tablet.
Yes, and some.
We don't mean
macaroni.
tablets. It's different. Tablet is different from tablets.
It's essentially
Sugar.
Sugar and condensed milk and some butter and a bit of vanilla essence, but mainly sugar.
Everything a growing boy needs.
Yes.
Yep.
Except your teeth, which dissolve in contact.
Pretty much.
Yeah, well, the thing is, this is a product that is designed and built in Scotland,
To make
where
you vomit.
Yes.
things
It
other than
doesn't
2
make me
days of the year,
vomit.
things other than 2 days of the year aren't hot, are they? I mean, Hotland. It's not
Yes.
Hotland, it's Scotland.
Yes, when it gets to 28 degrees here, ginger people explode.
Yes, they go red very quickly and then they go bang. But obviously, in the destination part of the night shift over the other side of that big
Yes.
expanse of water, the temperatures aren't quite the same. So it arrived and spent some time with the USPS and then in the postbox.
Yes.
When they got hold of it, it had gone bendy.
Oh, nice.
It had gone a bit floppy.
Yeah. It
So-
still tastes the same.
So it's gone back in the fridge. But anyway, look, Mrs. Wingnut 757 is recovering from a stroke, which details of which and the signs of which and lots of information were published by Wingnut 757 the other day to help
Was it
people
caused
who...
by the tablet?
No, it wasn't. Hopefully, it's going to aid her
that's-
recovery.
yeah.
But also, we wish Mrs. Wingnut 757 all the very best indeed with her recovery. And obviously, she is getting the best of
tablets-
attention from the kids and the tablet and the coffee. I'm not sure sending a packet of Hutton coffee to somebody recovering from a stroke may be the best idea.
Maybe it wasn't for her. Maybe it was.
Oh,
for
maybe it
Mr.
was. Maybe it was the Wingnut.
757.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hutton coffee and tablet. That's an explosive
But she-
And
combination.
macaroon.
She
And
is an
macaroon.
incredibly strong lady, and I'm sure she is going to recover at speed. The kids are looking after her, husband's looking after her, so she's going to do well. And all our love from the team over at Hutton Orbital.
Yes.
We also, unfortunately, got some very sad news this week. One of the more well-known commanders from the Hammers of Slough, Commander Boff, unfortunately passed away in the last week. He had been ill for a little while, but we got the news from his friends over at the Hammers of Slough, and it was a bit of a shock to everybody because most of us have met Boff at various events over the years, whether it's ECM, it's LaveCon, it's Fantasticon, and it was a bit of a shock to everybody to hear that Commander Boff had passed away. We send all of our love, of course, to his family and to his close friends as well, who are feeling his loss quite keenly. He was a lovely, lovely chap, and I think many of us had a lot of time for him. Enjoyable conversations and fun over at the various events, and it's always a bit of a shock when you get that kind of news. So, all of our love from all of us to Commander Boff's family. And then we do have on the other side of the coin some thumbs up news from Commander Baz. Did anybody see the photographs from Commander Baz in the last couple of days?
Yes, I did.
The pilot formerly known as Baz, I think. He's got a little squiggle symbol now. He's not called Baz anymore. He has been renamed. He is the Grand Baz. Yes, our very own good friend Baz of Special Effect is very proudly a grandfather this week.
Yay!
Yay.
And he has a little mini person in photographs in his arms.
A mini
And-
Baz.
Yes, and he's absolutely delighted, and Mum is doing very well as well, and everybody is over the moon. His smile says everything, really, as to how he's feeling right now. After the year that Baz has had in the last year, it's brought the most enormous smile to his face. So congratulations to the Grand Baz and the family Baz on their wonderful, wonderful news. So before we move on to the next bit, does anybody else have anything else for the bantery bit?
Aardvark.
Aardvark.
Aardvarks? Plenty of aardvarks. In which case, Commander Flossy,
Marsupial.
Commander Flossy, are you ready? Have you got your papers lined up? In which case, if you do, Flossy, please take it away, Maestro.
When the universe is in trouble, bug infestations in the bubble, your home station's burned rubble. What on earth can we do now? Interstellar initiatives. Let Flossy tell you what it is. Then you can get involved with this. You should listen to what Flossy says. Interstellar initiatives. Flossy tells us what she thinks it is. Then you can get involved with this. Now you should listen to what Flossy says.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. There were no CGs last week, so nothing to report. New CGs. Fight for the Federation against New Coimbra Labour's independence and fight for New Coimbra Labour's independence from the Federation. The Federation is fighting to prevent further factions from declaring independence in the Coimbra system. New Coimbra Labour has broken ties with the Federation in protest against the government's civil surveillance programme. Lichotep for Equality, a local federal faction, has been tasked to degrade the rebelling faction's military strength. President Zachary Hudson made a brief public announcement. I call upon all federal auxiliaries to aid in this conflict. The reputation of the Federation will not be so easily tarnished by these unlawful separatists. Two recently seceded factions, the Coalition of Uteran and Glooscap Labour, are considering rejoining the Federation, depending on the result of the Coimbra conflict. It all gets rather complicated, so see the CG texts for more details. Governor Sonal Mishra, the leader of New Coimbra Labour, has requested assistance from the galactic community. The federal accord is no longer fit for purpose. We require support to make a stand against this violation of our constitutional rights. Three other federal factions, Salkana Labour, United HIP 108095 Values Party, and Mutumu Future, are considering becoming independent entities depending on the result of the Coimbra conflict. These factions currently control 28 systems in the total. Again, see the CG text for details. New Coimbra Labour has offered credit rewards to any pilots willing to help secure its independence by handing in combat bonds at Gagnon Port in the Coimbra system. The two factions have set out 7-day campaigns, which will end when the top tier is reached by either faction or early on Thursday the 12th of August, 3307. To be eligible for rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before handing in combat bonds at either Fortress Liberty or Gagnon Port in the Coimbra system. Only combat bonds handed in after signing up will count towards your personal contribution total. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Thank you very much indeed, Commander Flossy. Apology, officer. Are you there? We saw you singing a second ago.
Not me.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Coimbawe. I'm not allowed to sing it. Because
Coimbawe, yes.
Apparently it's been copyrighted for a live radio song.
In the station. Anyway, yes.
They're ones that paint jobs for your ship.
That one, yes.
Yeah, that one.
They do pick some great names. Coimbra.
Yes. That's just a fantastic name. I would go to Coimbra. If somebody said, do you want to go to Coimbra for your holiday?
Or you could sing Coimbra. Yes. Labour, Coimbra, around the fire as well, those kind of things.
Yeah.
We before we move on to the Beetlejude and the Wotherspoon, there was one important thing we forgot. Dum da da dum 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 dum.
Is it the mini mugs?
It's the mini mugs. Yes, Major General Noctivagus has been making and selling commemorative mini mugs for charity for the last week.
I need to find out about this because I want a set of mini mugs.
And the deadline has now passed to buy them.
Oh, bollocks.
However, in the last 19 minutes...
Yes.
In the last 19 minutes, the Major General has put a message up saying, it's been a fantastic response. We decided to go one more week. A second batch of mini mugs are in process.
Yes!
Thanks for all your support. Grab yours before they are gone forever.
I shall message him during the Galnet news.
I already have some.
You already have yours?
Well, no, I mean, I didn't get them last time. I actually did it this time round, so I've got one of each.
Right. Well, I'm going to paste a link into the Twitch chat here. So his objective was to raise £500 for Special Effect and Hearing Dogs for Deaf People, which are our two nominated charities here at Hutton Orbital. Of course, Alvin being a hearing dog and Special Effect being very dear to our hearts. To quote his words, Hutton mini mugs, as we know, getting your dirty trucker hands on a real Hutton mug is as rare as finding Raxler. All donations in full will be going to Special Effect and Hearing Dogs. There's an order form to pick your token of thanks, as in what you want, on the Just Giving page. You then fill that in and make your donation to the charity, and then the Major General sends you, these awesome little mini mugs. They have the gold mini mug, they have the silver mini mug, and they have the extra super special
Hutton Orbital mini mug.
Hutton Orbital Radio mini mug, the white ones as well.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
We have to give our thanks to the Pilots Federation and to Sally for putting it out in the last newsletter as well. Now, £500 for mini mugs, that's a tall order, but he hasn't just reached £500. Has anybody else got the totalizer handy?
£1,350.
£1,350 raised for charity by giving away commemorative Hutton Orbital mini mugs for charity.
And you can get different versions as well. You can get keyring versions, regular versions. It's very cool.
It is very cool. And all the details are on the link we just put in the chat. It is going to be running for one more week. So by the time we get to next week's show, they'll be gone. You can't get them anymore. They are rare. In fact, the mini mugs are even more rare than rare.
Oh.
We should profile them on the rare goods.
Yes. Anyway,
I shall have to get some, and then once I've got some, I can review them.
Or yes, you could put them on the black market, or you could leave them lying around in cabinets and settlements, and then wait for somebody to come and rob them.
Well, no, now that I have my mugs hanging on their own wee special hooks, what I might do is use a mini mug and put it above the actual mug on the kind of the kind of square bit where the hook is.
Oh, your mug had a baby. It's so
and
cute.
It'll just look like each mug has its own special hook to go on, which it does, obviously, but...
Anyway, sorry, for that small little bitty diversion there, it's sort of time to unleash the Galnet News Digest on the Galaxy. And Beetlejude and Wotherspoon will be doing their usual any second now. But Commander Nomsky, if you are ready with this bit, then please do take it away.
Galnet News Digest, 5th of August 3307. We evaluate the news so you don't have to.
In this week's news, Salvation goes on holiday.
What would Marlin think?
The scribbling senator does a runner. Salvation goes on holiday. According to his own claims, Salvation will save humanity. What has happened to him? Where is our Salvation? Popping out of the woodwork from time to time, this mysterious character called Salvation has been guiding us to discover the missing megaships of the Azimuth Corporation and to find out what Azimuth and its rival Pharma Sapien were up to. It turns out that they were trying to use alien technology to make more powerful weapons, something that engineer Ramtar achieved nearly 200 years later and that Aegis Research was trying to do before they so carelessly lost all their Guardian research samples. Seems likely then that Salvation is going to give us a new anti-Thargoid weapon, perhaps the sort of weapons that will defeat real Thargoids when they start invading settlements. And we believed him. Commanders fell behind Salvation, not Aegis, in the latest appeal for Guardian objects to analyse and turn into something deadly. And he has a megaship full of such artefacts, but despite this, we haven't heard a peep out of Salvation since the 1st of July, when he said, Thank you very much for all the artefacts. Promised to change everything, and then, apparently, disappeared off on holiday without leaving a forwarding address. Should we trust this salvation, or is he living in the south of France, making a living by selling Guardian artefacts for the locals to make into cheese? The return of salvation is overdue. We should be worried.
What would Marlin think? Marlin Duval was the ancestor of the current Duval dynasty who established the Republic of Achenar. What would she think of the current attempts to establish a new republic to replace the Empire? Well, not very much. She's been dead for nearly 1,000 years, having been murdered by her sibling, and that length of time dead really doesn't help with opinion forming. But just assuming she were alive today and that she wasn't getting a bit senile, would she think that the Marlinists had anything going for them? Marlin would probably be smart enough to realise that the Empire isn't going anywhere. A bit of dissent on the fringes, rapidly driven out by decisive action by Senator Petraeus, means that the Marlinists, showing their hand through the kind agency of the Neo-Marlinist Liberation Army, has resulted in the Empire being stronger than ever, with all the Republicans left disconsolately and not entirely willingly outside the border in a loosely connected and heavily politically divided group of colonies that are rapidly becoming subsumed into the better organised and more powerful factions that border them. The NMLA set off bombs and assassinated a few of the less important Duvals, but now they want to talk with the Empire from a position of no power at all. Scorned by their own people, they've reverted to letting off bombs. Not against the Empire, but against their fellow Marlinists. It's perfectly possible that the Marlinists will wipe themselves out before their neighbouring powers have finished assimilating them. So, what would Marlin Duval think? Probably something along the lines of, "Oh my God, is this really the best they can do?" It's probably just as well she's been dead this last 1,000 years.
The scribbling senator does a runner. Scribbling Senator Drew Wagar is said to be unhappy with the way the galaxy is turning out. A bit of a traditionalist. He liked it well enough when it was all in 4 colours and wireframe. So did I. It was great. But now you can get out of your ship and walk about. The wise old chronicler of the salami sausage story has decided that the galaxy may not be for him after all. Rather than completing the sort of diplomatic mission that someone of his high standing might be expected to, the senator is reported to be running a holovid service from his bedroom. During his broadcast, he's heard to profess with ever-increasing pitch and desperation how much he is enjoying playing baby's first space game. Something that some commentators doubt is entirely true. It seems possible that the senator thinks that by pretending not to like the real galaxy and by playing games in his bedroom instead, that the galaxy might somehow magically change into something he likes better. How terribly, terribly senatorial. And that's this week's Galnet News.
Galnet News. We evaluate the news while wearing a silly hat, so you don't have to.
We make news about computer games in our bedrooms, so you don't have to.
Thank you, Commanders Beetlejude and Wotherspoon. And now, over to the sports results from the Apology Officer.
Welcome to this week's Hutton Sports Report. The Hutton Sports Report is sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a selection of random bolts and screws which you will only find after assembly of your new pilot's chair. This week's galaxy-wide events are the Beetlejude Supernova Sweepstake, the One Jump Beyond Oevese SG-Y D0 Pro Celebrity Shield, the Raxless First Planetary Scan Cup, the I landed on the Thargoid homeworld and all I got was this lousy t-shirt and severe chemical burns trophy, and the Guardian AI Invitational. Also, the I flew to Hutton Orbital in 45 minutes and here's a proof forum challenge. So now we move on to the classified results. So, don't chew in the meadows as they're made from recycled Duradrives. Dill A never goes into hole M. Stay out of my light and don't get double points. And you get double points if you hit your thumb and don't swear. The classified results are... Hang on, I can't read this, it's upside down. Oh, thanks. Zabadian, 11. Swoop Dog, 10. Light 027, 57. Montgomery Python, 24. JNX, 264. Little Biggin, 50. Argon Tenaeus, 38. Evan Gar, 29. Protomaniac, 79. Kinetic Impulsor, 17. I think you can get one of them at Wonders. Protomaniac again, 591. Sea Pot, 151. Stenhouse Muir, 2. Stirling Albion, 3. Wraith Rovers, 1. Montrose, 3. Luton 154-141 Blue Bottles, 2. Epsilon Indy Bourbonites, 2. Dynamo LP 525-39, 2. LP 532-81 Buccaneers, 2. The Gluttony-Fying Invitational Wheelie Sprint was called off after the handlebars fell off. No score draw. Bring back the guy from last week. Right, okay. So that's the end of the classified results. Right. You do know that's toilet paper you're printing on, don't you? Where did you get that from anyway? I thought everybody used the 3 seashells nowadays. Anyway, we have decals for JNX and Protomaniac. Please email itookpart@huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of a flat back decal with instructions in Danish, Chinese and German, an Allen key and some random bits of MDF. There were 2 Hutton runs this week, but sadly no one is close to the record of 1 hour, 22 minutes and 20 seconds, so Commander Hardy still holds the title. Commander 270 West submitted a time of 1 hour, 23 minutes and 30 seconds, putting them in 34th place overall. Our other contender was Commander Bograt, who recorded a time of 1 hour, 24 minutes and 6 seconds, putting him in a solid 122nd place, which they shared with Commander Asylum. Could you do better? Well, I know it's hard to tell, but just think of the possibilities. Sponsorship, holo TV interviews, masses of fans swooning every time you bat your eyelids, and a half-time show in the CQC final. None of this could be yours, but look what you could win. A lovely Hutton decal. So why not go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the Hutton Helper and get your head in the game so you can get your name read out live on the wireless. Let's face it, anything has to be better than trying to read something that Commander Chicks has just typed while you're trying to do the sports report because he's a wind-up merchant. And that's it from Hutton Sports Report. It's back to the studio.
Thank you, Mia. So,
yeah. Was that you typing?
Well, I just noticed because it wasn't in my usual colour, so I had to do it properly.
I was typing as I was reading it, and I'm trying to read that and read what I was supposed to be reading at the same time. I'm going, so yeah, mission accomplished in that one.
And
it's not the same if we don't throw a few curveballs during the Galactic softball competition.
I was fine up until the part where it said bring the guy back from last week, and I went, oh, I know what's happened here.
Someone's been interfering. But did anyone? By the way, before we move on, sports.
Yes.
Did anyone see the speed climbing?
The speed climbing?
This week. It's a new Olympic sport.
You know they shoot it sideways and they're really just scrabbling.
I know, it
floor.
does look like the Batman and Robin going up the side of that building. But I have to say, I don't think they touch the wall. I think they just sort of jump and wave their arms and legs around crazily.
What you want to see is high G speed climbing. Try that in a 9.7 G world.
I'm not sure my subscription for my Olympic service lasts long enough to see the arms on this. But I tell you what, I just watching them go up that wall on the speed climbing. I mean, the ladies. I mean, there was one putting herself 7 seconds to the top, and I swear she didn't touch a single thing on the way up. She just jumped.
The last time I did something like that, one of the guys that were with us had a heart attack.
Okay, well, that's put a downer on the whole conversation.
Yeah,
yes.
that was like, oh, he's fine now. He's fine now. I mean, he still wutters on about it, but he's fine. But not on the wall after, on his way home.
The only problem I'm finding is that because it starts at around midnight because of the time difference, I'm finding staying up way too late looking at these various sports and thinking, oh god, I'm unfit.
Looking at the various what?
Sports and thinking, I'm unfit. Yeah. Aardvarks. Yeah. Right, move on.
I think it's time to see what danger Amelia's up to this evening with a Galnet Rares Digest.
Good evening. This is Amelia Hawke reporting for the Galnet Rares Digest. We try all the galaxy's rarest and most dangerous commodities, so you don't have to. Brollies. Umbrellas. The words conjure up images of behatted men in old-fashioned suits frolicking on a wet street, of elegant ladies under their parasols at the races, of outdoorsy types striding along, the ferrule of their brolly tapping the ground in time with their steps. Then again, look at old photographs from the 20th and 21st century, and you'll see cheap umbrellas blown inside out in even the smallest of breezes. Some poor sap standing to one side of someone carrying an oversized golfing umbrella as the drips roll off the points right down the back of their necks. Umbrellas are an artifact of a bygone era. Modern technology, weather control systems, personal protection equipment, and of course the choice of where to live, especially choosing not to live in a country famous for its drivel, monsoons, means that the humble brolly has been relegated to being a museum piece. Not so in one small corner of the galaxy. Eshu, the only remaining manufacturer of fine umbrellas for the discerning lady or gentleman. Their umbrellas are a status symbol, one of the trappings of wealth. Yes, on the face of it, you could have something more practical to keep the weather off your bonds or the sun out of your eyes, but to do it with style, you need an eshu. They have, over centuries, refined the art of umbrella making, combined it with handcrafted perfection, and added just a touch of technology to bring you the ultimate in personal protection. These umbrellas are multi-purpose. At the touch of a button, they pop into shape, keep the rain off your wealthy, unhatted and unhelmeted noggin, or protect you from even the most fierce of solar flares. It's said that an eshu umbrella can even withstand a direct blast from a beam laser. Although, we don't recommend trying. The handle can be straight, or the traditional curved style for nestling in the crook of your elbow, and these umbrellas don't turn inside out at the first sign of a stiff breeze, What's more, you can have yours custom made to have a little flask in the handle or shoot projectiles from the tip. You can have the ferrule made from the same materials as a navigation beacon and virtually indestructible. You can have yours monogrammed or etched, and you can have any pattern you like. Want a collection of tiny little issue umbrellas for your next cocktail party? No problem. A giant one for your dining table on your expensive decking in your back garden. They'll make you one. Being totally unnecessary in the modern galaxy, and of course a piece of stylish frippery, albeit with a data stick, survival gear and a coil of monofilament rope in the handle, they are monstrously expensive. Your 1-ton cargo canister will be lucky to contain one, unless we're talking about the cocktail ones. Most of this is packaging. The wealthy broadcast unboxing videos on GalTube to show off their ostentatious precipitation prevention product. But they're nice, and they're handy. Walking along, you can't help but imagine poking ruffians aside with the point, or when your team scores at whatever popular ball sport you follow, pushing the button of your brolly to pop up and save you from a shower of warm beer. Passing flock of incontinent pigeons, your non-stick coated umbrella will fend off the potential bio-waste. The Galnet Rares Digest wouldn't be the same without a little danger. And there are 2 things to watch out for. Take your issue out in public and you're marked. Every pickpocket, footpad, thief and ne'er-do-well will have you marked for someone with a far more money and style than sense. You'll be patted down by urchins, have your digital wallet lifted in no time flat, and of course your expensive pocket watch cut from its chain as fast as you can say the immortal words, "Gotta pick a pocket or two." Your issue is safe thanks to the handy, indestructible wrist strap. The other danger is a little more mortal. Picture yourself walking arm in arm with your intended, your umbrella swinging and tapping at your side as the 2 of you stride across the heathers. A spot of rain lands on you and you raise your trusty issue, pushing the button and popping the canopy over your head. What you forgot was the stiff breeze that accompanies the rain. This umbrella doesn't blow inside out. In fact, it's like a giant indestructible sail. One gust and you're 10 feet off the ground. A strong wind and you're doing an impression of Dorothy House across the landscape, screaming. You don't dare let go. After all, these things cost more than a sidewinder. Plus, of course, there's the plummeting and screaming and the strap that you just can't cut. Of course, the pop of these things is so powerful that if you accidentally open one in a crowd, or forget that your nearest and dearest are within eye-poking range, then you'll probably be charged with assault. Oh, and never point one at someone you don't intend to hurt, as the one you're holding is probably loaded, and you don't want your issue to go all Russian spy gear on you and land you in trouble. I'm Amelia Hawke, reporting for the Galnet Rares Digest, and I've spent the day trying to recreate that scene from Singin' in the Rain, except that I'm in an orbital, and I've had to set off the sprinkler system. I'm getting all wet, in style, so you don't have to. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Thank you very much, Amelia. So do you live somewhere dribbly? I mean,
That's an understatement.
do you know what? You put these tongue twisters in there and you don't trip over the tongue twisters.
No, I trip over everything that's normal.
You are Mary Poppins. Granted, you're a bitey, angry, sweary version of Mary Poppins.
You mean like from the books as opposed to the film?
Hey, it's all consensual.
Yeah.
She had a gin habit, okay? It was that's the bit they don't show you in the movie, you know, the odd nip of gin here or there just to keep that smile on her face.
Yeah.
And anywhere in Britain, if you look towards the horizon, that black cloud you see, that's us.
Yeah.
Right, was it red sky at night? No, black cloud in the morning. Oh, I have no idea what the old wives' tale is. So these umbrellas, these are pretty special.
Yes, very, very
I
special.
mean, you
In fact,
don't need one these
No.
days. I mean,
A
you've
complete
got your
luxury.
spacesuit, you've got your fancy pants, shields, and all sorts. You don't need an umbrella, do you? In the real
No,
world,
not at all. Not at all. Not
No.
anymore, anyway.
But if you're a posh toff,
Yes. it
then
is-
you carry one for. It's an accoutrement. It's the kind of thing somebody who styles themselves as a gentleman might carry, but just for the look of it.
Just for the look of it, it is a pure luxury and nothing more.
It is.
It has
Or
no
the-
function in
Next,
modern
don't we-
society at all.
Are you going to suggest next we don't need towels?
No, you should
Towels?
always have a towel.
Oh, you should always have a towel. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And
always
don't
have a
panic.
towel.
And don't panic.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
But, I mean-
I thought you were
Need
going
an
to say
umbrella.
something different from towels there for a minute. You know,
Well, I mean, but these things are the equivalent of the Swiss Army umbrella, aren't they? I mean, they fold out. I mean, you can turn one into a deck chair. You can.
Yep. You can do pretty much
Fly
it. You
one
can
as
have
a
them
kite.
custom designed to do anything you want, pretty much.
Yeah.
razor blades along the edges.
If you really want that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Model, yes.
I mean, for that kind of money, they'll make you an umbrella that does just about anything. I mean, you want one that spins at high speed and can carve through oak trees, they'll make you
Yeah.
one.
you are looking at paying out more than the cost of a sidewinder for one of these things.
Yeah. And actually, if you're further away from issue, it gets
Gets
more
even
and
worse.
more and more expensive the further away you get. Mainly because somebody's going to rob you of this thing before you get there. I mean, the risk involved is quite high. But I mean,
Well, luckily, no one is able to rob it from you because the little strap at the end of the umbrella that attaches it to your wrist is indestructible.
yeah, I mean, they'd have to take your arm off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
And
I mean, you
the
might
other
end up
thing
stood
is-
there buck naked with all your possessions gone, but at least
and
you'll
missing
have
an
your
arm.
umbrella. Exactly.
The
Missing
other
a-
thing is, they don't know what attachments you've got fitted to your umbrella.
This is
You know,
true.
it's
It
a
could be a
risky-
self-defense weapon.
Yeah, it's a risky proposition. You
I
think,
mean, we-
I'll go up and steal their umbrella, that's worth a fortune. The next thing you know, they've launched a rocket at you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like the old Captain Caveman Club. Do you remember that thing?
Yes.
Yeah,
Or the
the
sport
top
belly
flipped
bag.
up. Yeah, there was a telephone in it. There was
Yeah.
a small bird that told him off a lot. There was all sorts in there.
Yeah.
And these umbrellas are much the same. You pop them up and you push buttons and things pop out. I mean,
Someone comes to
the-
rob you, you've lasered
and
them
funnily-
through the face, then you've drilled a hole through an oak tree and you're gone.
And funnily enough, they can be used as a club too.
well,
Yes.
they can. These things don't bend. I mean, you can club somebody around the head with them, and they do not bend in half.
I think
Exactly.
that's an old lady at the wrestling kind of thing, isn't it? To batter somebody with an umbrella.
Well,
Was
yeah,
that
I
a
mean,
handbag?
I mean, Commander Chicks could use it for fencing. I mean, forget your epee or your foil. You twirl your moustaches and get one of these things out, and people run.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, so other of the galaxy's rare items. So if you've not been to Eshu, then pop along
Bless
there. I mean, there's basically the lots of icy planets there. I mean, there's no reason to have one there because there's no rain in Eshu. But they're obviously experts in everybody else's rain.
If it's icy worlds, you might have snow.
It could be, or
Umbrella
maybe
boxes,
meteorites. These things will
Yeah.
protect you from meteorites, small ones.
Yeah, only the little ones. If
I'm
it's
just
5 miles
picturing-
across, no umbrella in the galaxy's going to save you.
I'm just picturing at the moment the apology officer standing on one of those, silicon geysers and being shot into the air and then,
Yes.
then firing off the umbrella at the
doing
top,
a Mary Poppins on the way down, or a
and then
Yandu
realizing
Uganda.
that there's no atmosphere and it's not
Yes.
going to help at all.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Or you could get one with thrusters.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it's what it is, you know.
Yeah, I suppose. But so yeah, I mean, the rares in the galaxy. I mean, what determines what's a rare? I mean, I suppose they've got to be expensive, but not as expensive as gold
They're only available to buy in one place
in small quantities.
in small quantities.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of
And they've
danger,
got to be
always
desirable,
have-
I suppose.
Yes, and always have a free zone of danger.
Yes, they are all dangerous, aren't they, Amelia? Every single
Every
rare
single
in the
one.
galaxy.
Yes.
Yes. There is an element of danger to everything. I mean, there's no danger in your standard commodities, your foodstuffs or your, void opals. They're not dangerous.
They're not rare, are they? So
No, you can get them anywhere.
Oh, and there was a time when they were a little rarer than they are now, but I mean, they're so common, their price plummeted. Anyway, well, look, thank you very much for bringing that one to us. I'm not sure.
Pleasure.
I mean, are these umbrellas something that you should have because they're cool, or is they something as like, well, only rich toffs have them and it's just showing off?
yes.
Yes.
Yes to both.
Yes,
Okay.
yes to both.
Yes to both. All right. Fair enough. Right, well, look, thank you very much to the radio team and to our listener this evening. We do understand that the long-missing Dead Meat GF has turned up and apparently is apologising to himself on his behalf or something.
No, I have to apologise to myself on his behalf.
Anyway, I'm confused now.
I think he doesn't want to steal my thunder or step on my toes.
Well, he's got very big feet.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
asking who taught me to read.
Right, well, look, thank you very much to the radio team. Thank you very much to Commander Ventura for putting the fires out in the studio, and to the apology officer for apologising for everything.
Yes.
To Commander Chicks for giving us the lowdown on Hutton Space and being smooth as usual.
Smooth with a capital smooth.
From Western Britain. To Commander Flossy for the CG's updates and all the community news.
All right.
And, of course, for Amelia for putting herself in danger every single week.
Whee!
I'd hate to see her insurance policy. I really would.
You'd be lucky to see it. I don't think she's got one.
Other than that, if you missed the start of this...
What is this?
Insurance. Oh, real danger then.
Yeah.
Or the life insurance your wife has taken out on you, just in case, or for when you attack yourself with an umbrella.
On the
Or
one hand, life insurance. On the other hand, a sniper.
yes, a sniper with a deadly-looking umbrella.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. A little metal ball full of ice, and that will see you off.
Oh, and Commander Flossy, you're chasing after the guy from last week.
Not me. It's Norman keeps typing that in. And I just wonder what he's on about.
Oh, is there? There's probably because there's an echo in here from last week. It's a week-long echo from a previous show.
All right. He just keeps typing and bringing back the guy from last week.
Oh, he probably means Palantir instead of me because I fluffed up all his pictures and I broke everything. So
I was
Right.
bring back
That'll
the guy
be
from
it,
last
of
week as
course.
well. But
Norm's key's probably not talking to me. Anyway, look,
That's not true.
if you missed the start of the show, it will be up on the YouTube in the next 24 hours. Just search for Hutton Orbital on there or look for our links everywhere. If not, we will see you and talk to you next week. At what time is it next week?
The usual.
The usual.
Yes.
7:30.
Quarter past. Yeah.
About 8:30, unless you live somewhere else, and then
It's
it's
8:30.
Somewhere around 8:30-ish.
Yeah.
in fact, it's available at any time, depending on where you are. It could be 1, could be 2, but yeah, depends where you are in the
It's
galaxy.
always Hutton time somewhere.
Hutton time, yes,
It's
but
always
also known
Hutton
as
time somewhere.
1930 UTC at the moment.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that the year 1930?
Are we all
Hell,
fappers?
you're on the wireless.
I say.
Yes.
Right, we're going to bugger off now. And thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Please do tell us all your stories because it's your stories that make the show so fun. Amelia, we have
For
one
the
more.
mug!
For the mug!
That's premature.
One more thing,
Father
eh?
Mug.
Yeah.
That was a premature
That was a
exclamation.
Yeah.
Normally when you say
That's
my
a
name at
premature
this point.
exclamation.
You've managed to overrun by 2 minutes. I hope you're happy now.
Oh, God, 2 minutes. Over the point. This is messing with my chi.
And if anybody can find it, we've managed to lose our cartographics, location, and identification transmitter again. Good night.
Oh, I'll have a look.
For the mug.
For the mug!
For the mug!
Father Mug.
Mug.
No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9 crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. Father Buck, Father Buck. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Buck, Father Buck. Now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Father Buck, Father Buck. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Buck, Father Buck. Now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Give me a large pad that I can land on, and I'll give you my cargo and sing you my song. North Part 22 light years to go. Cruising to Hutton, whoa, whoa, whoa. No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. Father Buck, Father Buck. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Buck, Father Buck. Now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Father Buck, Father Buck. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Buck, Father Buck. Now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
We are very, very sorry for all of the mishaps, all of the misbroadcasts, all of the non-broadcasts, and all of the nonsense which has happened at this evening's Hutton News.
I'm Mr. Dusty.
Well, thank you very much. That was excellent.
Give me your trash.
Store alert! In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. A store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert. Which one will you buy? A store alert, 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 a store alert. Which one will you buy?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everybody's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?
Night, guys.